to The Fitterist Show with your host, Christopher Allen, where we explore the art of mind and body conditioning. As the pandemic stretches into the 6-month plus mark, the fitness technology world continues to evolve accordingly. First up this week, we have the German fitness company RSG Group acquiring Gold's Gym and its 661 worldwide locations. Next, we take a look at a recent study out of Rutgers University that examines in-school food offerings and the availability of physical activities and their impact on student health and overall fitness. Finally, rumors are circulating that Under Armour is potentially looking to sell its popular MyFitnessPal digital app. We take a look at the popular app and the cloud-based food and exercise database and why Under Armour might be looking to sell what was previously heralded as their bridge to the digital customer. So, let's dive in. First up, we have Dallas-based Gold's Gym is set to be acquired by the German fitness company RSG Group for an estimated $100 million. A little bit of history about Gold's Gym. Joe Gold opened the gym in 1965, the first Gold's Gym in Venice Beach, California, long before even fitness clubs existed. And that first flagship gym was dubbed the Mecca of bodybuilding, home to many celebrities, Arnold Schwarzenegger, hundreds of IFBB pro bodybuilders, fitness competitors. But amid the pressure of the pandemic, the fitness chain Gold's filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy on May 4th, earlier this year, in order to restructure its debt and close several locations. They ended up closing about 32 clubs as part of their bankruptcy filings in court, and they also furloughed almost 4,600 employees in their bankruptcy declaration. They also tapped a $20 million bankruptcy loan shortly after they filed just to keep operating. Even though most of their gyms remained closed, they still had fixed expenses such as rent, etc. So as Gold's emerges from bankruptcy, they'll have a total of 61 company-owned gyms and more than 600 franchise locations around the world. And again, the sale is subject to bankruptcy court based in the U.S., that approval of that on July 24th. The previous owner of Gold's was Dallas billionaire Robert Rowling. His company, which was TRT Holdings, they had owned Gold's Gym since 2004, and when that company purchased it for $158 million. So not so good. Buying for $158, selling it for $100, almost 15 years later. The holding company did explore a sale of the gym in 2018, but they decided to call that off and reinvest in the Gold's Gym franchise and chain. So overall, they lost $58+ million over 15 years since purchasing Gold's. Not surprisingly, RSG Group founder and CEO Rainier Schaller, very bullish on Gold's Gym, believes it's a fitness institution that has a major influence on the industry, and it was a huge source of inspiration for him when he started his first gym, ironically called McFit. It's just an interesting name, kind of like McDonald's and fitness. So the McFit studio chain in Germany, when he started that chain back in 1997, which has been successful. And it is the largest fitness chain in Germany. So McFit employs about 5,000 people at more than 300 locations in 48 countries. So the acquisition of Gold's Gym out of bankruptcy dramatically increases the RSG Group footprint on a global basis. So hopefully RSG Group will continue to invest in the Gold's Gym brand and the gyms, and it'll be a good partnership for the long run. During the bankruptcy proceedings, Gold's did take the opportunity to kind of rethink its franchise model in this new age. So that includes options to build smaller gyms, lower investment thresholds, and trying to make franchising more accessible to a broader group of potential investors and operators at the franchise level. So overall, the combined entity with RSG Group will hopefully continue to fuel Gold's expansion onto multiple continents. RSG Group now has more than 900 gym locations around the world, and their brand portfolio includes, obviously, Gold's Gym, McFit, John Reed, another fitness studio, High Five, and they have nearly a dozen other sub-brands of various fitness, studio, and gym sub-brands. So we'll see how this evolves as Gold's Gym folds into the RSG Group product portfolio and umbrella. But at least the RSG Group has committed to keeping the Gold's Gym brand and all of its properties as it emerges from bankruptcy as part of its portfolio, and again, will hopefully continue to invest and grow the footprint. In our second news story, a new study out of Rutgers University and recently published in Preventive Medicine Reports contends that students at elementary and secondary schools that offer healthier food offerings and more opportunities for physical activities have a healthier body mass index. Now, while that might not seem like rocket science to a lot of people, it's still good to have the research behind it. So let's take a little time to look at this study. They basically used the professional measures of a student height and weight, which is kind of the standard for studying childhood obesity. Again, we talked about BMI, body mass index, for some period of time, previous episodes, but it's still not a bad, and it is a very cost-effective way to at least gauge the overall and general health of students in this age category. So a little bit of background here. Almost 1 in 5 children, 20% of children and adolescents in the United States are obese. That's the number. Most children eat up to 2 meals per day and can get 40% of their daily physical activity at schools. So schools play a major role in obesity-related behaviors. Although recent policies and programs such as the National School Lunch Program have focused on promoting healthier school environments, there is little evidence of the consequences of that for children's weight so far. So this study looked at the healthfulness over one school year of items offered in school lunches, vending machines that are on campus, and other school food offerings, as well as the number of indoor and outdoor physical activity facilities and physical activity opportunities at 90 different public schools, serving almost 20,000 students in Newark, Trenton, Camden, and New Brunswick in New Jersey. Researchers found that healthier food offerings and a greater number of physical activity facilities were associated with lower body mass index on average for students. Schools that offered an additional unhealthy item, in vending machines in particular, were associated with higher student weight, and those that had additional outdoor physical activity facility correlated with lower student weight. As we've discussed before, BMI, body mass index, is certainly far from a perfect measurement for one's true level of fitness, but it is still a reasonable data point when looking at an overall large data set. This study is particularly relevant as at present there are current federal proposals to roll back in-school nutritional standards. Nutritional meals provided by schools are critical to the health of low-income students, who are 80% of those served by those federal school meal programs. They provide up to half of the students' nutritional needs at low or no cost to the parents. So knowing what we know about habits, their formation, how they're created, particularly in childhood and adolescence, offering healthy food options throughout school and minimizing poor nutritional choices can have a big impact on kids' overall health, particularly as they get older into adulthood. And schools, they play a critical role in providing these environments that support these healthy habits that, again, start young with children, those habits can influence their both short and long-term health. And nutrition and meals are just one of those key areas. So, a pertinent and relevant study for today. And our third news story today according to a report published July 7th, 2020, by The Information that cited two different sources, Under Armour, which is the company that's headquartered in Baltimore, the sports and fitness apparel, is planning to sell the diet and exercise tracking app MyFitnessPal and is actively seeking a buyer. Now, Under Armour bought MyFitnessPal in 2015 for about $475 million, and the app itself helps people track their diet and their exercise and has roughly about 20 million monthly active users according to Statista. So if we take a quick look at the landscape, some of the recent happenings in the fit tech world. First up, let's take a look at Lululemon. So just last month, Lululemon Athletica, basically an athletic apparel company, acquired Mirror for $500 million. So Mirror sells a connected fitness hardware product that allows the consumer to mount something on their wall in their living room and then have an ongoing subscription to home workout content. And the company, Mirror, just launched in September of 2018, but it's already on pace for about $100 million in 2020 revenue. So the question you might be asking is, what's an apparel company doing buying a connected fitness hardware company? Well, it's a clear demonstration of a huge consumer trend right now, and that is connected fitness. These days, you can't just have a one-time sale of a physical product. Here's a dumbbell, go lift it. When, with the advent of technology, connected products, the internet, now you can have ongoing subscription, i.e. recurring revenue, to drive company revenue even further. Companies are looking now actively to provide ongoing services with their hardware and merchandise. So if you think of Lululemon, right, while they have huge brand loyalty, yoga pants are basically like that dumbbell. They're a one-time sale. You wear them, you can wear them, wash them, wear them, enjoy them, buy another pair, but there's no recurring revenue built into that model. So what Lululemon's thinking is, well, they're using our products, our yoga pants, to regularly participate and pay for yoga classes, an ongoing service. But now they acquire Mirror. They still sell their physical yoga products, but now they have yoga subscription service, potentially discounted and integrated in with your Mirror yoga video content. So the combination actually enhances the Lululemon overall business. Let's take a look at one more example, Peloton. Now, Peloton sells exercise bikes and treadmills, but includes studio quality workouts for an ongoing service fee, $39 a month for workouts on its exercise bike and treadmill. Hardware, software, recurring revenue integrated into one package. That's the plan. And what did Peloton do most recently? Well, they decided to expand their fitness classes into a broader market via the Peloton app on Roku. So now they have an entirely new audience that is not dependent on one owning a Peloton bike that clocks in about $2,500, but they have a new audience at a lower subscription price through the internet of only $13 a month. Connected services, recurring revenue, connected fitness. That's the consumer trend. So now let's bring this back to Under Armour. We've established this connected fitness trend is pretty much undeniable. And MyFitnessPal was really one of the key ways that Under Armour participated in that connected fitness with its end customers. So if we look at the scenarios of what might be happening behind the scenes, there's 2 or 3 that kind of emerge. The first is that the MyFitnessPal is doing okay. It's benefiting from the current consumer trends. It's helping people track their diet, track their exercise. But if they decide to sell it, that would mean it doesn't really figure into Under Armour's plans. I believe it can profit more now than over the long haul. But this might indicate a shift back to just being an apparel company, which is kind of contrary to the broader consumer trend and the direction the rest of the fitness world is obviously going. Second scenario is maybe MyFitnessPal is not doing so well. In that case, Under Armour's likely not going to get a good price for it, certainly not $475 million. And it would be disappointing to see that app performing poorly while so many other fitness apps are really growing rapidly right now. A third scenario could be MyFitnessPal is doing okay, and Under Armour generally likes it, but it needs cash. Revenue for Under Armour has been flat to slightly down. Net income has been poor since the emergence of the pandemic. So selling MyFitnessPal would seem contrary to Under Armour's much hyped expansion into its digital arena and connected fitness broader trend. But right now, Under Armour is showing some signs that it is under some pressure. It's currently trying to reduce its operating expenses by over $300 million. If you've read anything in the press, it's attempting to cancel its $280 million sponsorship of UCLA sports teams. And that could be a sign of more cuts to come. And the overall drop in consumer spending for apparel and retail clothing could have placed the company in a bit of a cash crunch, and they might need to offload an asset like MyFitnessPal. But that seems like a short-sighted strategy, and there are clearly other companies, Lululemon, that are, and Nike, actually not doing too bad in terms of overall apparel sales. In Q1, Under Armour reported connected fitness revenue growth of about 9% to just under $33 million. But the overall company saw revenue drop 23%. So the digital arm of Under Armour is growing, albeit relatively slowly, particularly relative to a lot of other digital and connected fitness apps in the space, but it is growing despite the non-trivial drop in core apparel and shoe revenue. Not surprisingly, Under Armour is not commenting on any speculation, any market rumors, but we'll see how this evolves. That's it for this week. We'll see you next week. With that, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to listen to The Fitterist Show. You can follow us on Instagram at FitteristMindBody and on Twitter at FitteristMind. If you enjoyed this episode, please send it to a friend or subscribe to make sure you don't miss any future episodes of The Fitterist Show. My name is Christopher Allen, and make it a magical day.